Okay. Today I wanted to talk briefly, very briefly, about entrepreneurship. Who knows what that means, to be an entrepreneur? Anyone? Yeah?
To come up with ideas for companies.
Come up with ideas for companies. Good. Anybody else? Entrepreneur is one of those words like red. Like there's a lot of different types of red. There's your red shirt, there's the red box, there's that red cable. There's a lot of different shades of red. People use entrepreneur as kind of like, I have a job and I may or may not make money at it. That's what it means. And that's okay, because when you start a company, you don't generally make money. Who wants to start a company? No one? Lily wants to start a company. She's about to get a good education right now. Yeah? Why do you want to start a company? If you can make money, it's easier. If you just want to make money, it's easier to go work for someone else. I'll tell you that right now. There it is. You want to be your own boss, right? If I wanted to, I could have just slept in today. Right? Turns out that's not the way to succeed. But if I wanted to, I could. Lily, why do you want to start a company?
Because I want to invent something and then start a company for fun.
Cool. Well, now, so this is, everybody loves to talk about inventing something and starting a company. You always want to be careful because inventing something is very, very different from starting a company. Just because you have a product, like let's say Lily invented the next generation iPod. You know, let's even say everybody wants it. Having a product that works is not the same thing as having a company that works. Because there's a lot of other things that goes on when you start your own business. So if you're an engineer and you design a product and you hand it off to the marketer or to the salesman or to whoever sells the stuff, they take care of it, right? There's an army of people, lawyers, accountants, salesmen, marketers, management people, buyers, supply chain people, manufacturing. The company takes care of all that for you when you're an engineer working at a company and you're designing stuff. Guess what happens when you run your own company? You got to do it yourself. That's why when Robin and I started BlueStamp, we were such a great team. It's because neither one of us could have started a company like this on our own. We needed help from the other person to make it work. So it's good to remember, a product is not a business, right? Okay. So anybody else want to start a business? It's a ton of fun. Garrett, CloudForm Design is incorporated, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you've already got one. Okay.
Starting one.
Who thinks it's hard to start a business? Yeah, there's a lot of people. What do you think is the hardest part? Getting money, right? Well, we didn't have any money when we started BlueStamp.
Getting funded.
Getting funded, right? We also did not have funding. Although we charge tuitions, that's a little different.
Getting people.
Yeah.
Paperwork.
Paperwork. Good, I'm glad you brought that up because we're about to talk about paperwork. Lily, you had something to say?
Getting people, like networking.
Getting people, absolutely, having connections, making things happen. You walk in with an idea. Imagine, so all of you were able to go on the website for BlueStamp and see what people have been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, right? Imagine if we didn't have that. And I came to your school and I was like, hey guys, I got this idea. You're gonna come and we're gonna teach you how to build cool stuff. How different is that sales pitch versus the one that you heard this last spring? Who would be here today if they just had to come on an idea I had and a little printout that I made up with Microsoft Word? I got one. We started BlueStamp with 10 people. It was a slog to get those 10 people because we didn't have anything to go on, right? We can't say, look at these other students who built this awesome stuff. We can't say, I can have you build all these different things, and I know I can have you build those because these students who built it. We didn't have any experience. We sold people on an idea, and that's hard. So that's good. What else is there to go?
Based on that, minimum viable product.
Minimum viable product, by coming up with the actual product. If you don't have anything to sell, then you're making in trouble. It doesn't mean you can't start a company. You can, but it's harder. You're not as well directed. What else do you think would be hard? Anything? All right, cool. Yeah, Dustin.
Getting through the tough times.
Getting through the tough times. That's right. That's right. There's a lot of tough times that occur. It's like, oh, I don't think we're going to have enough people. I don't think we're going to make enough money. I don't think we're going to have enough staff. I don't think we're going to have the parts that are going to work. These projects will never happen. All those things run through your mind when you're trying to build a business. You're sitting there and you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be able to sleep at night when you don't know how tomorrow's going to go. That's tough. But it's also kind of fun. So those are all great things to talk about. Now today I'm just going to talk about the paperwork part. And what I want you to walk out of this room thinking is that starting a business is cake, right? Getting it to work is the hard part. But as far as starting it is easy. Who knows what you have to do to start a business? Good, this would be a good lecture. Yeah?
For an LLC.
File for an LLC, or S Corp, or C Corp, or whatever organization. So the way the government works in this country is if you wanted to go out, like if I wanted to teach all of you right now, as myself, I could do that legally. I could charge you money, you would pay me, you would write your checks to Dave Young, and that would be that. The problem is if you would come in here and say, you want to sue me because I ruined your summer, you had an awful time, and you would have rather gone to this other camp, and you want to sue me for $1 million for whatever, I don't know. Then you'd be chasing after me, personally. And that's a problem. In this country, we have corporate organizations. And what's really nice is anybody can start corporate organizations. If you were in China, you'd have problems with this. But here, all you have to do is register with your state, and all you're saying, you're calling it out saying, I'm starting a company. And now, if somebody wants to chase the company down for money, they can't get in my retirement account, they can't get in my house, or my car, and my bank account. For instance, if I took a loan out on BlueStamp Engineering for $1 million to grow the company to 26 next year, right? And it failed miserably. If they wanted their $1 million back, they can't get it from me. They can only get it from the company, which goes bankrupt and then gets dissolved and it's a game over. The whole point of corporations is to limit your liability. That's why LLCs are limited liability corporations. It's a way to protect yourself personally from what the company is doing. Because Robin right now, he has signing access to everything. He can go take that $1 million loan in BlueStamp Engineering and then flee the country. Like he could do that right now. But if that happened, they could never chase me down for those funds. Right? Good. So how hard is it to start a company? Easy. I'll show you the BlueStamp documents, which are a little different because we are in New York, not in Colorado. It's actually easier in Colorado than it is in New York. So this is articles of organization. We started this company with 4 pieces of paper. And this is big writing pieces of paper, a lot of weight to this. So we basically say what our name is, BlueStamp LLC. We couldn't call it BlueStamp Engineering because if you put engineering in the title, you have to have a license to do engineering. So nobody can like a doctor. No big deal. And then for some reason they want the name again. Okay. And then you say what county you're in, and this is where I lived when I was in Ithaca, where we started the business. There is one there. There's also one in upstate New York. And then they want your signature, and they want the name of the person. So basically, they want to know what's your name, and where can we go if we got problems. Okay. You come to my house, no problem. And then again, what's your name? What's funny is if you mess this up, they get really angry. It has to be right. It's just like writing code. Once again, who's filing the document? I filed the document, yeah.
I think it's important to point out that your company incorporated name does not have to be the same as your advertised
Yes.
business and how you do business.
Yes. If we wanted to call this Blue Star, we could. We would have to, but we would have to register that name. And then we'd have to link our BlueStamp Engineering to the Blue Star name. It's called Doing Business As, a DBA. So we go down here, and then I paid for it. It's $225. Yeah. So you give your credit card, you sign it. Don't look at my credit card number. And you have a company. You send that in. They send back to you, and I paid $225 because I was late and I wanted to pay the $25 expedite fee. So it's $200. $200, and actually that's 2 pieces of paper and the credit card form. 3 pieces of paper. We're up to so far. Who thinks they can do that? Yes? Yes? Seriously? You can't do that?
Yeah.
I should see everybody's hands in their head. Listen, come on. I know you can fill that out. Well, yeah. If you don't want to pay, you don't want to pay. And if you don't want to fill it out, then you don't fill it
It's
out.
only $80 in Colorado.
It's 80?
I think it's 80.
$80 in Colorado. Oh my God, this state is so great. $80 to run a business here. Beautiful. Okay, so we're up to 3 pieces of paper, right? 2 things that basically say what your name and where's your address, and 1 to say how you're going to pay us for your registration fee. They send you back a letter that says your company, great. And then the other thing you have to do is you have to go talk to the IRS, because the IRS loves to know what's happening in this country, especially with dollars. And so you need to get what's called an EIN, an employer identification number. This is BlueStamps right here. And so we have a number when we do all our tax returns, when we open a bank account, when we register for anything like a loan, our EIN is there. When we ask for grant money, stuff like that, it's all there. So you go online, this takes about 8 minutes, and they give you a number instantly. It's about as hard as getting a Gmail account. Right? Totally free. 100% free. Because why? Because the IRS will get your money anyways. They'll get it later. So we're up to 4 pieces of paper, right? And we have a company, and we can open a bank account, and we can start doing business, and nobody can sue me for the liabilities that my business incurs. $225, 4 pieces of paper. Not a bad deal, right? Yeah, that's it. And you have a company, you're an owner of the company. Now, like I said, starting a company is very different from running a company and making a company work. And you can go get a degree, many degrees on how to make a company work. But as far as getting it started, this is how you do it.
Wait, hold on. Do you have to like keep paying? Like, is it just a one-time thing and then you're done?
It's a one-time thing. You do have to keep up with paperwork. So, and it depends on where you are. So in New York, we have to file a form every year, even if we don't make money. Even if we don't do anything, we have to file a form every year. I'm not sure. In Colorado, do you have to?
I don't remember. It hasn't been a year yet.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
in
think so.
Colorado, you just create it. How do they know when to kill the organization?
You have
You have to actively kill it?
Kill it.
Okay. So it's super easy, right? Our whole country is built on making it easy for you guys to be effective and make money.
It's called the American dream.
It's the American dream. That's right. Take advantage of it. If you have an idea and you want to really get serious about it, don't let the paperwork stop you. People go out of their way to defend this way of doing business, and you should take advantage of it every chance you get. Cool? Any questions? Anything else you guys want to talk about with starting companies or entrepreneurship? I'll be around and I'll talk a little bit more later about other aspects. If you want to start a company, do it. Yeah?
This is a little bit more personal question, but how did you guys get your initial funding?
You saw the credit card number, didn't you? BlueStamp, we are fortunate with BlueStamp where it was extremely inexpensive to start. I think if we wouldn't have gotten it to run the first year, we'd have been out like $2,000. So, 1,000 for me and 1,000 for Rob. I don't even think it was that much. But we charge tuition. We charge tuition up front. If you all notice, we ask you for money, and that's how we buy the parts and the tools and everything.
So Dave, kids, he would have been out $2,000 in cold hard cash, but he would have been out hundreds of hours
Oh yeah.
of work.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so like the investment Dave made was his time.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. So like, you know, any business, getting it up and running, get the marketing work, get connections, that is a lot of time. So like, I'm a contractor, so I don't have to invest anything except for maybe like a oscilloscope and, you know, soldering iron or whatever. Very little starting investment except for time. Trying to get those jobs, those first jobs especially, is difficult. So that's true for almost any business starting up.
Yeah, it is. You're just pouring time in. And we're still, Rob and I are still pouring time in. It's ridiculous. But it's cool, it's fun, we think it's a good idea, and we continue on. Any other questions?
You drop it or come back?
No. He's in New York. He's in the other locations. Sometimes spending so much time here. Any other questions? No? Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah. Yeah. If it wouldn't have gone, it wouldn't have been worth it though. Right? If it never took off, if
Well,
you guys weren't here, it wouldn't be worth it. But that's the risk you're taking, right?
Well, how many people try to start a business and fail a couple times before they get?
I know. I've heard numbers ranging from like 90% down to like 50%.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
And what's defined failure?
Right.
So if BlueStamp got shut down today, like let's say when you guys lost your hand, and that's it, the company's over, guaranteed, right? So company's over, you lost your hand, would I consider that a success? No, probably because you lost your hand. But if we had to shut it down for some other reason, I don't know if I can call that a success. I don't think so. Do you want it to be sustainable? Do you want it to pay you what you're worth if you went to work in a cubicle? Do you want to make gobs of money? Do you want to sell it? Like, what's your definition of success? Alyssa, you had a question?
Why did you guys choose Denver?
Why would you, I live here.
Oh. Gotcha.
Any other questions? No? Nothing? Alright, cool. That's all I want to talk about.